snitching. I'd rather one up top if I'm gripping and smithing. Dropping two in that box, I'm like easy, nigga. And I'm good in the trap, I'm like Jeezy, nigga. I'm the truth like Sojourner, gloves in the burner. Rebel like Nat Turner, packing my squirter. Look, nigga, back when Juicy Juice had the cake mix, I was on my bass shit, Chopper was going ape shit. Nigga riding through the city with the blamatory. I got prices on my head, blood is mandatory. I'm a down below nigga, I ain't fucking around. About this room and this bitch, I chase you in. Nigga riding through the city with the blamatory.
What up, everybody? It's your man Shadow. We are here again. One more again. Here on Taking It Back Tuesdays on hype-radio.com. Once again, I am your man Shadow. This is hype-radio.com. And your show that you're watching right now and listening to, because we're live on the web, and the TuneIn app, is Taking It Back Tuesdays. What I do here on Tuesday is I bring back what is real hip-hop. I bring back the cats who actually help form and create milestones for us here in this hip-hop shit, because it needs to be noted that these are the people who you're looking out on that compliment. Ooh, I gotta get a picture of that shit. Grab Mixer GMS. Like, that's an honor to even be said by you, player, so thank you very much. But we bring the best of the best here. We bring the reason why a lot of you cats, or a lot of the cats you know, actually wanted to get on this thing called hip-hop. They made it cool. They made it stylish. They started this shit. So all the little swag that y'all think y'all have, you didn't have it. E-Dawg, what's happening with you on time? You didn't have it, but, we here to let y'all know where y'all got it from, because it's very important to know what side of the mud puddle y'all got on. Hold on a second, bro. I'm going to bring you on right now. And speaking of guests of greatness, ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you tonight, like we always do every Tuesday night, I bring to you one of the greats. I bring to you one of the legends. I bring to you a cat who's been doing this shit so long that he needs to be in the Hall of Fame with the rest of these great people. Tonight, I'm bringing you the real E-Dawg. What's happening with you, bruh?
What's happening with you, man?
Man, sometimes me, all the time you, bruh.
Oh, man, I like that. Swimming with the alligators is always safe.
Man, you already know. You already know. Thank you for coming on the show, man. This is Taking Back Tuesdays. And, for you just taking the time. Oh, yeah, we taking it back because with my help of Jeff Kwan from BTP Media, we were sitting up and we was kind of like saying that a lot of these cats in the game, they don't really understand what it is or where it came from. And with this show, we letting it be known that everything goes full circle. But it had to start somewhere. And we bring it to the cats who actually helped start this thing called hip hop, who made, who started in the back and who picked it up off the baton pass and kept it going in the 440.
Yeah.
No
doubt, man. I talk a lot about that too, because if it wasn't no us, it wouldn't be no them.
Facts.
And not only that, just the respect level as far as artists today is very low. As far as, there's a gap between the new generation and the older generation. And I know where that was created, because, record labels, they push that. They push that upon people to believe that an artist is too old to still be in business in the rap game because they got smarter and they want half the residuals and not just a percentage anymore. When you get to that point, they want to, make you feel like you're a failure or you're not selling records anymore and discredit you. So, you don't have, nothing to really stand on.
Right.
So when artists, Prince and other artists start asking for half of that money, knowing they deserve it and not wanting to take them advances and want more ownership, that's when we were old. That's when we were too old to rap. This ain't basketball, like I tell them. We don't need no physical to speak your mind, because rap is speaking your mind. We don't need no physical for that.
Facts. That's the absolute truth, because these majors, man, these majors are evil as hell. But
you know what's funny? I I was sitting here tripping off the fact how they still here, and we think they not. Like, don't get a record deal. It don't matter. They still own iTunes.
Yep.
They still own all these other little sites that you download your music to. They still got ownership in it. People got to remember these are public sites, so they're in the stock market too.
Yeah, it's crazy. Right now, I want to go ahead and give a little shout out to happy birthday to Mr. Nasty Ness.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, Ness.
Yeah.
How old is he? 13?
I'd say 12 going on 13. The way he be acting sometimes, I might go a little bit further back. But, that's the homie. Happy birthday. Shout out to him. Love him to death, boy. Woo. So,
some people don't get it.
No, he definitely is not. Well, he having fun till the day is over. So,
Man.
let's go back. And I'm going to go back to a time that I'm familiar with because I had the little
The Jerry curl?
well, I had it going down past the shoulder, but I couldn't leave the house dripping on the jacket because Mama was not having it. I tried to walk out one time with the fresh spray. She said, "Come here." And I didn't know she had a towel in her hand. She snatched me back of my head and was just with the towel. I was like, "Mom, come on."
Yeah, the towel action.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is, as we got older and mature with the Jerry curls, we start understanding the Hawaii Silky and the Wave Nouveau, and we had to learn that we didn't really have to wear that wet.
That juicy.
I started off with the curly kits.
Okay.
And the kitty kits, and and once you comb it, that's it.
It was it. That was it. So I didn't know that you had a song with Filthy.
Filthy Rich?
Yeah.
It ain't the Filthy. Now, it's
It's a difference. It's a difference. Okay. It's not Bay Area funk on site. That's not that Filthy. We talk about a different Filthy. But I didn't know you had that record with Filthy.
Yeah, that was one of my first records. Actually, my first record was actually You Can't Slip, which was on the flip side of Baby Got Back.
Okay.
Single. And then Filthy Rich, a.k.a. Rich Tycoon, came up to Washington State, and then we connected through this cat named Peter. Okay. And then I heard his voice, because, he was right there with Richie Rich with that distinct voice that, that people was tripping off. And we connected, went up to Mix's house and recorded a song, which ended up doing good. It would have did better if I would have signed the record deal faster with Rick Rubin, but Rick was like, "We can't put this single out. We ain't got no contract on this cat for an album because he can walk away after he blow up." So that kind of held the single back, which the Summertime was very important with that type of song that we put out. So that kind of back then record companies was really into the seasons, and when is a good time to put a record out like this. So it came out, but if we had the internet today, man, there'd be no doubt. I think that song would have went gold or platinum.
Definitely would have, because it was during that time. Because being from C-Town during that day and age, that wasn't an easy thing to come out. Even with Mix-a-Lot, it was a hard pressed journey for him. But y'all dug up from the trenches and really made a motherfucking impact on the world.
It was a trip, man, because we had a problem with our own rappers kind of getting on, but we put a lot of Bay Area rappers on. So it was kind of weird. Like, you got your E-40s, Master P's, those type of cats came to Seattle and they promoted their records, and we love the Bay Area. So they did good numbers up here. We just didn't have the get back. We didn't go to the Bay, and the Bay felt the same way about us. We had to really push our albums and really have to have a record deal to get our albums distributed throughout those regions. So, it was kind of backwards, but we appreciate it because we got a lot of relationships with the Bay. Bay and Seattle always been messing with each other.
Yes.
The first thing people think outside of here is that black people don't live in Seattle. They really feel that way.
They would be so wrong.
I remember a newspaper article where they was doing this press release on me, and it was really targeted on the fact that I got shot, and I was like, I don't think people in LA, people in Chicago, Detroit, those type of places give a damn about a black dude getting shot in Seattle.
No.
Like, I think they were putting too much on it, and they were trying to build this gangster persona. And, you know, when you say Seattle, the first thing people go, man, come on, man, we talking about a dude from Seattle. Like, what kind of gangs is out there? They didn't believe us like that.
Okay. I've been to Seattle. And
Yeah.
it's a mirror reflection of the Bay, but y'all don't bang like that. Y'all got apples and oranges compared to our Bloods and Crips down here. Like,
And we got gangsters.
yeah, please don't let them say Seattle needs to be on the back burner, because y'all
We
show.
got gangsters. I think cats know now, especially the LA region and things like that, because even when the Crips and Bloods was out here doing their thing, they had to deal with a gang that was actually from here.
Right.
So it's like, you know, we like mounted up, like, you know, we was raised here. Y'all ain't gonna come up here and just take our blocks. Now some of the region, they did influence a couple sets and things like that, but you know, wherever there's a Martin Luther King, man, there's some gangster.
Always. That is a fact beyond the Jesus. That's a fact. But the way y'all turned the game around, though, to kind of like put the spotlight on Seattle, because before the pandemic and a little bit before that, like, if you wanted to see a big name artist, it was damn near go to Seattle, because y'all would have anybody from, like you said, 40 and Short and all them, but y'all would come new and you would have the Juice and the Yuck and the Filthy from down here. And then y'all was having Nip come up there on a regular.
Yeah, Nip was up here.
So
Shout out to GMS. I see you, Jim.
So for that being said, when the artists started coming up to y'all, because I want to say a name who was booking, but I won't go there. But he was booking a lot of artists. So was it getting a little bit easier for y'all to put your shine on, because you had like Nip and Juice and, you know, Messy before?
What was crazy is we didn't really need in the 90s, we didn't really need a name to jump on to get a show cracking. Like, all the Seattle artists in the 90s supported each other. Like, we was at each other's shows.
Okay.
We was, it wasn't, you know, we didn't have that hate. So we kind of supported you know, there was Silver Shadow D's and different type of individuals that was doing shows. We were just, you know, in the building supporting whoever was on stage. It's funny because, you know, I got a story about how people mistake, like, you know, the whole Seattle situation. I don't know if you hip to Mike Concepcion, but he was part of that movement, you know, in the same game. Mm-hmm. And I remember it was my manager at the time too, me and Mix's manager. We was out in LA surfing for beats for the album, and we went to like Sir Jinx. We went to Willard from Solid Productions, which was Easy E's production team, and then we went to Concepcion. Like, this lady down in Warner Bros. Like, well, let's hook him up with Concepcion, and everybody in the room was like, what? I don't know about that one. Like, I'm like, what's up with Concepcion? And it was like, you know, the dude in the wheelchair. I said, man, I ain't scared of none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the hood too. So we took a ride out to Concepcion's home, and he had Crips and Bloods in the house, and this was kind of a trip. And I was hipping the manager, Ricardo, to the whole shebang, because some Bloods was trying to test us and ask us questions, but their identity wasn't matching the questions they was asking us.
Right.
So I said, look, they trying to see what we is.
Right.
But I remember Concepcion watching Drop Top, the video, and he was like, yeah, I know where that's at. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I know where that's at too. And I'm like, oh, okay, the cat been to Seattle. And he said, ain't that by the so-and-so? And I said, where is that at? He said, off like La Brea. I said, nah, homie. I said, we from Seattle. He said, this ain't L.A.? He said, man, I thought y'all was from L.A., man. He said, are you serious? But he did have history with Seattle. He said he used to run to Seattle all the time. He started naming the juke joints and all that joint. So it's like we've been related to the Bay and L.A. for years, to the point where, like, the gangsters, the Crips and Bloods, and the hustlers, they know about Seattle. But the average nigga that don't leave L.A., don't do no OTs.
No clue.
He don't know. He
No-
don't know. Just,
No clue about
it's
it.
just like Spokane right now. Spokane is like, it's no joke right now. Like, there's gangsters in Spokane. And people just it's hard for them to believe. But when Mike Concepcion said that, it got me. And a lot of people thought Mix was a Crip because of his records. And we used to trip off that because Mix ain't close to no gangster shit.
Yeah.
Nor do he smoke or drink. But people thought because he was saying lines like, all feelers are blue, on songs like Rippin', that he was a Crip. So they identified Mix as a Cali. Nobody knew that Mix was from Seattle until he started putting the Broadways and, start talking Seattle. But Mix couldn't give away a record here. If you talk to the label, they had to launch him from California. California bought his records first, and then Mix blew up. But nobody would touch him here. He couldn't blow up here.
Damn. So how did you and Mix, how did that connection come about?
It's kind of weird, homie, because when me and Mix first came together, like for real, it was when I started going up to his house with the other members of his group, and they were recording records. But before that, I was just a little kid, and I would get mixes. I would know where he lived in the hood, and I would show up at his doorstep, and just, like, he would give me the time. He was just, Mix is very touchable.
Okay.
Like, he don't hide his number from nobody or nothing. So I was just like, I'll come by and he'll give me 10 minutes, 15 minutes on the porch. Then it went to come in and listen to this record, and then it, be times where we don't talk for years. I had got his number. I call his number, and he would give me 30 minutes. Mix was he was like that, and it wasn't like. And I remember one day I was a little kid, man. I had to be about 14, and I said, man, I want to get in your group. And he laughed and snickered on the phone and said, man, everybody in my group is 21, 25. And I was just like, And I told the nigga, all I want is put some food in my mama's refrigerator. He said, don't you ever tell nobody that, because that's exactly what they would do for you.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? So little things like that, and then going up there with PLB, and I think it was Attitude Adjusted making an album, and then, freestyling inside the house, and him hearing me, overhearing me, and eventually he made that phone call and was like, man, how you feel getting in the group? He asked me, am I done gangbanging and selling dope? I said, yeah. That's why I moved to the outskirts. He said, man, I would like you to get in the group. And from there, it was just like we was riding. I mean, I think it was like the second, third day after being in the group, he was like, I want you to get on this song on the flip side of Baby Got Back. We didn't know Baby Got Back was going to do what it did. But I went up there and recorded my first song with him. And it ended up being on a successful single.
Okay. Now, with that, when you joined in, because you decided not to be a street pharmacist anymore, now, a lot of times the world's a connect. Was there some disconnect from the pharmaceutical to actually being in the hip-hop game? Did you just get in and start running? What?
Nah, because it was a trip, because Mix was feeding me money like the game.
Okay.
It better than the game, and I didn't have to take a risk to do it. Plus, I had baby. I had my son, and one on the way, so it was actually, my time was cooped up. I didn't have time to go, to the hood and hang out in the streets, because we were always busy. It was like, I fell in love with the studio. I fell in love with going out of town. I don't know if a lot of people don't know this, but Mix don't fly, so we was always in vehicles driving to the next show, no matter where it was. We was the crazy black people that was in a Bentley, $150,000 car, 4 deep. Some of us had jerry curl bags on. Some of us had jerry curl, riding in a Bentley like it was cool to be driving from Seattle to LA in a Bentley, and we got pulled over so many times. Like the cops was like, who the hell is y'all? Because y'all the dumbest drug dealers we ever seen. Like they used to blow us over all the time, man. But I got too busy and excited with the lifestyle, man. Just being with that cat was just like, your status go up in Seattle and at that time, and people start really looking at you as somewhat important. So I knew I couldn't be put. Now I failed sometimes as far as the gang stuff. Mix will tell you times he picked up the phone and heard about something and knew it was me and called me and said, "Man, they talking about your car on the news. What are you doing?"
Damn.
Shit like that. And I'd just be like, man, I had to learn. I had to learn, man.
That's all in. Because you could not be about it and be cool and be all square bear, but the minute somebody turn that page on you, oh, it comes out in strength. Like, motherfucker, you need to know about me.
Hey, I done brought Mix out sometime, and he ain't even on there. But I done brought him out. There's been times where we had events, countless times on the road where we, not him mainly, but me and a couple cats in the group jumped off stage and had to get it in. That's why I be telling people, like, fame ain't what people really crack it up to be. You know, whether you be in the group and experience the fame or whether you don't, it don't matter. It's still the same. You're still gonna get tested wherever you go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was concerts where there's always somebody or a couple people in the crowd that just gotta try to get your attention on the wrong side of the track. Right. And then, you kind of flash back and handle your business, but then you learn after a while, like, man, that's not what we here for. Hopefully you learn that early, or you can scramble up some situations where it's just like, I learned that being a gangster and being in the business don't mix, because you always on a flyer.
They know exactly where you at.
You always coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
So once I learned that, it was just like, man, sometimes you got to suck up some shit. You got to let the person go ahead and do what they got to do, because it can get ugly.
And that's pretty much what's happening a lot now lately, because a lot of these cats be on their records talking about shoot 'em up, bang, bang, gang, gang, and next thing you know, they on the 11 o'clock news. Like, for example, Mo 3, they just caught another person who was wrapped up in his demise. Yeah.
Did they?
Oh yeah, they own 2 right now. They just caught one just like a couple days ago. Caught one. So, it's sad because, example, Mo 3 was super talented, and now because of some shit that I don't want to say that he couldn't let go, but he couldn't let it go, and somebody felt that they needed to act in response to that situation, because we've lost a lot of great artists this same dumbass way, and it's really sad, because we've lost a lot of artists who was really like climbing the mountain to get to the top of the peak, and it's taken away because they got to the point where they felt they were invincible almost. But you got to realize, if you're gonna be on an album talking about you gonna go and smoke and do this and hit his baby mama and all that shit, somebody gonna get in their feelings and come see you. And if
you pretty much know what the measuring cup look like when you hear how he get killed.
Yeah.
If you from the streets, you know. Like that, the surprising part is just a square bear from nowhere looking at the story, like, they killed Mo 3. But you could tell, like, if a person go to that extent in broad daylight and chase you down and pop you, there's not a lot of innocence there. Something then popped off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I also heard rumors that he had a body under his belt. So, you know what I'm saying?
Mo 3 was a stepper.
Yeah, get back is a must sometime in these situations, and a lot of people. Shouts out to AC, man. I see you. A lot of people. That nigga had the last Jerry curl left. At the airport, he had the sky cap on top of the Jerry curl. I used to say, "Damn, I know that hat was wet inside." But shouts out to my dude. So sometimes, like, these murders, like, I just be keeping it 100. Like, for a nigga to go to that extreme to murder somebody, it's a lot of anger behind that trigger, or somebody hired that trigger and it had to be done. I look at situations like with the police. Sometimes I see situation, I go, stupid. He's stupid. Or, come on, man. I know what we want to do, and I know what we're trying to change, but at the same time, you know, you also got to know from the streets, like, don't put yourself in a situation that you will be here, you know what I'm saying, to fight. Because, like, the George Floyd shit was wrong.
Facts.
No doubt. Now, the female with the knife, I got mixed feelings about that situation.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad you said it, because I do too.
I said it on my radio show. I mean, you know, I'm thinking about what if that girl that she was about to stab was my sister, my relative. She was going in for the puncture. Ain't no survival guaranteed in that, too, if that girl would have got her in the neck or whatever. So
right.
I understood the officer's actions, because that's what he was trained to do, is to protect the public. So I know it's funny because we can't satisfy our culture sometimes, because we hotheads.
Right.
It's like, yo, you didn't have to shoot her that much. Well, the way they train is the warning shot was gone in the 70s. I sure wish they do, you know, come back with warning shots. A couple niggas like in the leg, in the arm, but they just, for some reason, they just don't get down like that no more.
They're trained for 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. It's real assassin shit.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, like with that situation, because I was like, so he was just supposed to stand there and let this girl stab this other? Like,
then we would have been on him about,
why didn't you shoot her?
It would have went the other way.
Now, it's some out there, yeah, they need to be tied up behind a truck and dragged down a street full of glass. No doubt.
Yeah.
But there's some cops out there who's really trying to do their job, and when they pull over a motherfucker, he want to talk all that shit because he got his phone. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's still
what is it?
Harris 360. You gotta still show respect, because they're in their position of respect, and they in their position of, I can't imagine my job being every day to pull over a car that smell like weed, super beat in it, tint darker than I am, and I'm supposed to walk up to this car. Hey, how you doing? Did you realize you were bow, 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 bow? I gotta go home too. But
and my thing is, this is what happens when you have a square from no poverty, no, you know, none of his homies getting killed, none of all that, to hearing about it, training to be a cop. These guys ain't training to be a cop no more to save the neighborhoods and make them great. That ain't what they doing. They literally want to go out and get some action. That's what they want to do. You know, we not in the 70s, in the early 80s, where, like, black people back then were tougher than the generation now. Like, we tough toward each other.
Yeah.
But when it comes to that officer or whatever, it's like you can have 15, 20 people around the incident where the body's laying right there and nobody's busting these cops in the ass with these fists. Like, nobody's putting hands on these cops. Take it back to the 70s and the early 80s. Uncle Greg and Uncle Eddie and them gonna be going to jail too because they jumped on the police.
Which I didn't even understand. Like, it had to come to the light. And we're in an era where everybody got a motherfucking camera and it's in HD and 4K and all the shit. Nobody ran out and kicked this dude off this man's neck. Nobody.
That fucked me up.
And it's all on film. So everybody in the world was filming. And as this man was perishing, nobody said, what the fuck? Go kick him in his back, something.
We not them same people now. If that was a regular black dude on a black dude's neck, he would have had 4 or 5 other black people beating him down.
Yeah.
For some reason, man, that's one thing that, it's almost like that slave mentality still.
Okay.
It's like the slaves wasn't bigger. I mean, the owners of the slaves wasn't bigger than the slaves. The slaves was cut in. They worked every day. They were strong. They just, the mind. You know, they train our kids early in the black neighborhoods to be intimidated by the gun and the badge.
Right.
That's why they run up on us and they pull the gun. And that's why grab us and throw us on the hood because they want to get that mind. So as you growing up as a kid, those are the people you don't fuck with.
Right.
But then you go fuck with your little partner that you went to school with, because I realized gangbanging, we never really had no beef with the individual. It was just where they was from. But even though we all went to school together, but one decided to do this and the other one decided to do this. So it's crazy how we still being slave programmed and our kids are being slave programmed. And what's going on is because we are becoming the majority, even teachers are jumping up and getting pissed off and trying to disrespect the black heritage and trying to speak their mind to the kids in school. Like, I see a lot of that now. Like, you supposed to be getting treated like this. This is how we trained y'all, whatever.
It's some kids out there ain't gonna deal with that shit. And I done seen some of them videos where kid who, for whatever reason, he done drunk all the little meat, all the milk, and got the little meat and everything. This ninth grader is 6'7", 250 pounds, and he wish a motherfucker would tell him that he's supposed to listen to what the Klan say. Like, what? Teacher, let me beat your ass real quick.
It's funny, man, because it's crazy how, like you said, history repeats itself. And we used to always, I remember Grandma and them used to always say, boy, y'all couldn't survive in our times. They used to always say that. And I'm just like saying to myself, I'm not saying things are gonna stop. I'm telling more people need to stand up.
Right.
Stop being scared.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Stop being that yes sir, massa. That mentality is gone. Like, you look at, like, somebody was, I forgot who that brother was. I know you seen the video of the brother talking about how Biden ain't really did nothing.
I saw that today. And
that was powerful.
When he said that, when he finished that little reel, I put my phone down and leaned back and was like, I'll be damned. Like, it's the truth.
This is shit that we don't even think about or see every day.
But what killed me
like,
was George Floyd passed away way too soon under some circumstances that should have never happened. It created a protest worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
A week later, the McDonald's McRib came out, and I didn't hear shit else about it.
That's the, you know what? They said over 140 people after the verdict, black people got killed by police officers.
See,
after the verdict.
See,
so you just pissing the Klan off. And then they trying to bring this new world order. It's kind of like, well, the only way y'all gonna be protected is if we bring the new world order in and we have one policing. Well, what people don't realize about that one policing is that means it's gonna be federal. So every crime you commit is gonna be federal.
And you're gonna do every second of your time. They do not play in the feds.
Yeah, because that's what people don't realize. Like on the military base right now, it's all federal. You do anything on a military base, it's federal crime. So it's like, do you really want to put that type of authority on some simple crimes? Like some simple crimes.
Yeah. Stealing some gummy bears about at the little mini mart on the base and get your ass some real time. And how you gonna explain that to a motherfucker who think you cute? Oh, gummy bears, you don't say. Open up cell block 29. Nigga, it's a wrap for you. You
3 counts.
Yeah,
3 counts for gummy bears.
Yeah, it is.
They already throwing niggas away with football numbers.
Yeah, they really are.
Shit, these niggas ain't just going to jail overnight no more.
Nah, you going for a good stay. Get comfortable.
They taking careers from these rappers. Don't go to New York with a gun. That's where you don't go.
Ever.
I was wondering why the niggas had cuts in their face.
Oh yeah.
Now I know.
You get $150. You can get $150, but you hardly hear about. Oh, this nigga was shot up. No,
I don't hear none of that.
You get 2 years for having a pistol on your waistband. No argument.
That's crazy.
No argument.
Crazy.
We don't want to hear it. We understand why you did it. We get you. And you're from where? Oh, we understand completely. But your ass gonna sit here in Rikers for 2 years. We don't want to hear that shit. See you later.
I don't know if you hit the True Life.
Yeah, I've been seeing that.
Yeah, I chopped it up with him years ago in L.A. in the studio, and he was telling me, his whole crew was Puerto Ricans, and they was telling me how you can be in a club and get into it with a nigga and get swung on and think you fighting them, but then when you get done, somebody just point to you and your whole cheek is open and you don't even know. That's how sharp these razor blades be. Like, you just all of a sudden you get on the fight, and he say it's not a lot of blood because how sharp it is, and you all open. And I just said, man, I've been shot before, but I don't know if I want to be, mutilated. You know what I'm saying?
I'm from Georgia, so everybody's uncle had them straight razors that came out of nowhere. And if you got in a fight, you got hit with a straight razor, you be standing there boxing, and all of a sudden your whole intestinal system be on the ground in front of you, like, what the fuck? And you pass out, because them blades be sharp as hell.
It tripped me out how all the black people is migrating to Atlanta, and I don't know how many of them know their history.
They know the history of Outkast.
I think you're probably safer in LA, than you are in Georgia. And I tell people all the time, poverty's just different.
Right.
New Orleans, Georgia, the poverty is just different.
Right.
It became the new Hollywood, but you sure better watch out how you maneuver through them cities.
Stay your ass in the city, because you go to the outskirts, it's real out there. It's
real poverty.
On a nice, warm, clear, moonlit night, you'll see crosses glowing in the field.
That's crazy. Yeah, my homeboy, he flew back here. He was in the military. He came home quick. He said, just for driving with no license is lethal out there.
Yes.
Like, they got a mandatory jail time. He said, man, the military was racist and the policing was racist.
Yep.
And he was like, he said, it's crazy. He said the way the property taxes work and all that shit, the politics, and I was like, like my homeboy's like, man, I'm out here, it's cheaper. I said, yeah, but they pay you cheaper. Minimum wage is cheaper. It all evens itself out.
Yep.
It's good if you retire or you got a bundle.
Right.
And you come in. But shit, if you trying to come up, and then your mind's gonna be triggered to think small, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's cool that you won't cheat. But now what your savings look like, what your 401k look like, can you survive off these numbers?
Right.
It's like, what I do like is that a lot of Atlanta people, black people, own their property.
Right.
I do like that. That's dope to me. Like, my cousin be like, man, people got land out here. They got homes. We're the majority a lot of places. And I'm just like, yeah, that sounds beautiful. But my cousin, he loved telling me he got his deed to his house in his wallet. That's his favorite thing.
Say that.
I got the deed to my house in my wallet right now. I said, that's beautiful.
It really is.
But how do we not have to run somewhere to be comfortable in our skin? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think gentrification does, is it makes us feel like we don't belong here.
Yeah, but it's some of us that actually, like yourself, for example, ownership is important, because that's one of the reasons why I started my radio station, because I wanted to own something, because I had a vision on what I think it should do. I don't know about how you do with your radio, but this is mine. This is my house. And to come in here, you need to be invited in. That's my thing. So now with your show, let's talk about that for a little bit. Let's come off this gloom. Your show is great, bro. I was going back and listening to some of the recordings. I was like, okay. And then, wait, let's go even further back. Bruh, are you a chef? Because there's more pictures of, it's more.
I'm not a chef. I cook.
Bruh, it's some place.
Chefs, you know, they know how to do all the little filet shit. But I do get down in the kitchen. I do sell food. I do got a business and all my permits and everything. I get it in. I do about 400, 500 people to tops at one time.
Okay, because when I come to visit, I'm gonna need some of them plates on on the gram to appear on a table, bruh.
Yeah, I got you. I that's what I like doing. I like cooking. That's not only something to make money. That's something that's in me. That's what I like doing.
Okay.
Even with my family, that's what I like doing is cooking for my fam. As far as the radio show, man, I started it probably just like why you started it.
Okay.
You know, being a black man, coming from hip hop, really knowing hip hop, and getting frustrated with the radio stations all the time, not playing your music, and then I realized, why would they play your music? You're not a customer. People,
I go through that all the time.
Yeah, people forget, and then you hear artists. I hear artists bitch all the time. Why the biggest station ain't playing my record? Why didn't I play? I said, how many advertisements have you bought? How many? I mean, they're really not even worth. They don't make their money off you, right? They make their money off Ford, Chevrolet, all these different entities. You're not going to stop that check.
Right.
And I got frustrated like the average artist. Like, man, you guys got to realize something. This is a white station that play black music for white people.
If that math don't add up right.
That's the pop stations. We are a white station to play black music for our people.
Right.
So once I started realizing Clear Channel, that's what Clear Channel was, I said, we got to change the narrative. Why can't we start our own station? Now it's even better on the internet because you can reach more than just your region.
That's what I'm doing.
You can, right? So I was like, okay, the same thing with the history. They left me out of a museum one time, and it's funny how I make myself feel better about shit, right? And my homeboys be cracking up. I went into this museum, they had all Northwest shit up in there. And I seen cats that came after me. I seen cats that it's just records. They put out records, so they put it in the museum. And I remember walking around this museum, and I said, oh, really? Like, is this where we, and it's just always somebody that's in charge that just don't like you or they're not fucking with you, right? And with hip-hop, we're very selective. Like, there's the backpack rappers, there's the gangster rappers, there's the pop artists,
right.
And sometimes the backpack people just don't fuck with the ones that they feel is pop.
Right.
So they kind of leave them out of shit, right? So I got to walking out the museum, and I remember calling Mix, and I said, man, I just left this museum, and I ain't in that motherfucker. He said, you got to be kidding me. I said, I'm not kidding you. I'm not in this motherfucker. But then I said, you know what, though? It was maybe 2,000 artists in this museum. And then I said, is that a museum? Or is that a memorial I just left? Because out of all that material, only Sir Mix-a-Lot and Macklemore really made it.
Wow.
So I took that and heed, and I said, well, and at the end of the day, I don't really need nobody to build my history. I build it myself. Sometimes you don't know your history and how powerful it is until you die.
And we got a lot of that going on too. Everybody need to go ahead and just give everybody their flowers now, because when they're gone, it's too late. Shout out DMX, Black Rob. Who else we just lost? We just lost another one. Shock G. And Shock was talking about going back on the road.
That was my guy, man. That hit me hard. Because the relation, I've done music with Shock. Money B's one of my great friends. And it was crazy because I was in a good mood too. Something had happened that was good. I know I was coming home and DJ Eva Lee called me. And he was like, yo, I heard Whoop-De-Whoop passed away. Man, you might want to check on that. And I was just like, that's impossible. Because Shaq, some people are so great at what they do that even when they dead, in your mind, they alive. Yeah. Right? I came home and I was just like, well, let me confirm. And I called Money. And then I called Cletus Mack from Digital, and he confirmed it. And I was like, this ain't right. You know? Yeah, they were planning on going back on the road. It just brought me back. Today, I'm putting together Saturday. I'm putting together a Digital Underground and Friends / Shock G Memorial Edition on Easeway, where I'm playing all Digital Underground. And what people didn't realize, the Digital Underground didn't just mean Shock G, Money B, Cletus Mack, and them. There was members in and out. About 40, 50 artists came in and out of Digital Underground. People didn't realize Digital Underground is a movement.
Right.
It wasn't just that Shock and things like that. So Shock created something legendary that people and you never really understood it. Like you really, like these young generations got something to look at now. They're gonna look at his whole history and be like, man, this cat created an empire. It wasn't just Tupac that came out of Digital Underground or that was affiliated with Digital. You had Numbskull and Yuck.
Yep.
Movies. You had Mystic. You know, you had Dot. What's Dot's production company now? What's the new production out of the Bay? They like fire. Everybody fuck with them.
Empire.
Huh?
Empire?
Not Empire. It's they produce. Man, what are they called? Somebody in the thing probably know who it is. But Shock, they think they got a Tupac movie. The Shock G story gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I had to find out from my homie Lamont, who was real good friends with Shock, and when I kept seeing the post go up, I was like, before I even do this, let me hit family up, and it really affected my family really, really hard because they was real, real tight. They talked all the time, kind of thing. But
I told some of them stories on the show. Shock was I put him up there with Prince, Michael Jackson of hip hop. Real talk. I put him up there because he was when you hung with him, he was different.
Okay.
We were different. Like hanging with Rick James probably. Hanging with James Brown. These guys had different, when they put out the James Brown story when he had the car lot and shot up the car lot. This was James Brown.
Right.
When Rick James was behind, he said, it's Rick James, bitch. Like, these type of people didn't care. They were in a bubble. And they didn't give a fuck about what you think, how you felt about them.
Right.
This is what they like. That shit. Shock G was an artist. He drew a lot. I would see this nigga every show. He would draw a different nose on his, draw different designs on his nose. And you like, where all these goddamn noses coming from, homie? Do you got a supplier?
A trunk of noses.
And that's what he would do. He would draw on these noses. He would draw art. Like, I'm even thinking like whoever got some of his art right now.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's gonna be valuable because he wasn't in the market. He wasn't selling art, you feel me? But he was a great artist. So it's a lot of things coming from his legacy that's gonna happen. And I'm telling you, I'm just happy that I have it's just like if you was working with James Brown before, if you was working with Michael Jackson, it might not have been like something that blew up. It might, but you have that. You ain't never gonna get no stuff.
Right. So, when are you doing this memorial to the Shock on your show?
This Saturday.
This Saturday.
2:00 p.m.
Now, is your radio station, what hours or when is your radio station pumping? Is it 24/7?
All day.
Okay.
All day. We got new music every day, but we got shows mainly on Friday and Saturday. So mine come on Saturday, usually at 5 o'clock. I start a new show called Bars and Gossip. And then we got GMS, DJ GMS, he was on today.
Shout out GMS.
A lot of people out of here. I want to get a female show. I'm just building it. This is the first year, so I'm kind of putting it all together. I'm trying to be, I'm not trying to be one of them old dudes that don't support the the new school movement. So I'm trying to stay with that too. I'm trying to, blend it all in, man. Makes sense.
Now, a lot of cats now.
The problem, do you got this problem? I want to ask you because you got a radio station. The problem I got with the new music is, and then trying to get the old school people to be involved with the station, is sometimes the new generation make you have to choose, because the new generation, man, all I hear is fuck, pussy, fuck, pussy. They hooks, pussy, I'll eat the pussy. And I'm just like, man, one day I was listening to my station, and my dude, shout out Focus, programs a lot, and I had to hit him, blow his phone up, take this off right now. I'm watching the number, and when the songs are coming on, I can see people leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, dude, we gotta stop playing bullshit till after, wait till after 7. Because I want to be that station where people play and they work.
6 a.m. to 6 p. Clean edit music only.
See, and I didn't figure that out until one day I was listening, and I was like, oh no. It was YG, and he was just cussing the whole time. The hook was the cuss, and I was just like, this ain't working.
Right.
I can't do this.
Wow.
It frustrates me because we get emails sometimes saying, y'all whack playing all that old school shit, or and you can't be.
Those are people. Those are people who don't understand it. Even when I was at radio, because I was at a local radio station here in Sacramento, and people always get at me, bro, how come they won't play us? The Bay Area plays the Bay Area artists, and New York will do that. And I said, okay, well, let me go ahead and explain it to you, because this is Radio 101. If I had a venue that held 500 people, and I put E-40 in there, I'm going to sell that venue out 2 days in a row. If I put 50 Cent in it, I'm going to sell that out 2 days in a row. If I put, somebody from Atlanta or somebody from Texas 2 days in a row, if I give you a chance, could you put 30 people in the building? I'm not sure. That's why we don't play your ass. Because if you can't pull the numbers on the street, why am I going to play you on radio?
Yeah, I hear you.
So I get that all the time.
They had this big old youngster debate about artists paying to get on performance bills with major artists. And
play to pay.
Pay to play. And I listened to him and I said, okay, there's a pay to play and then there's a promotion. It depends on where your head is at in business.
Right.
You got to have a purpose when you come into this venue. You got to have your merchandise. You got to have something to sell to people. Now, if you're just there because you want to be seen on stage and, you want to rock stages, that's cool. But if you take it as a business, it's no different than renting a space at a swap meet, at a local business, paying rent. It depends on your purpose. That's what make it understandable. It's you got an end game.
Right.
Now, if you just go in there and look like you're a big artist, you're not fooling the crowd. They don't know, right? But then I thought about it. I said, well, I don't think these youngsters understood that even on major labels, they were actually paying to put the artists on a tour with a Busta Rhymes, with different major artists. They were paying for their artists to go out on tour. It was called a promotional tour. Right. But the labels wrote the check, right? So So if Def Jam had a tour going out and you wanted your new artist to get known, then your label wrote that check to Def Jam to take you out.
Yep.
People don't realize that pay for play has always been in the game.
Yep.
It just depends on what your end game is. If you go in there to try to make people think that you on some type of level because you on the bill, we already know you paid to get on the fucking stage.
Yeah.
It's like the feature game. I told young niggas, I said, look, you're trying to pay an artist to be on your album. The fans already know you paid that artist. But you should reverse the game. You should ask that artist, let me give you 10 grand to be on your album.
Facts.
Because if you on their album, you're going to get more looks.
Yep.
Like, I've seen it. I mean, it speaks volumes because everybody else is going this way. You should go the opposite way. Like I tell niggas, pre-promotion is dead. Cats just don't do it.
No, and that's where I came up in the game off of AWOL Records. I was the guy who I was the guy who was sniping at night. That was me. Like I come from the original AWOL team, but you know.
Snipers.
Oh yeah.
How the hell you get that up there, sniper?
Man, I'm that dude.
You was that guy that knew how to put the poster, and then the other poster that slide it up the pole.
Step him on all corners, slide it up all the way up. Man, I did Tower Records parking lot so bad one night. It was I was like, this is a work of art. This is awesome. This is crazy. And the next day, that shit was gone. But everybody who drove down that street saw them signs, and they remember that artist, and they bought them albums.
Man, I was doing for the Split 50 album I did with this cat, I was doing off-ramp.
Yeah, man, I did. One of my partners on here from Texas is talking about I had him out there doing that shit. You damn straight I had you out there doing that shit with me.
Man, street teams, not only street teams snipe for you, but they talk for you.
Yep.
You know, they answered the questions.
Talking volume.
You know, they walked in the business and encouraged people to check you out. And they did a lot, man. I'm going to tell you, these artists, that's why they so pacified, is because they don't have to put in the work.
Right.
They can post a couple things, tell people to go to it. And then, you know, it's like, they're not getting hard sales. They're not getting real sales.
Not at all.
That nigga Chance the Rapper got a Grammy and he didn't sell no records. He gave them away.
And those are the facts. Bruh, we running out on time. I thank you for your time. I thank you for the wisdom, because if you were an artist and you was watching this video, if y'all don't take some notes on what this man gave you, you fucked up. But could you please let them know how to get a hold of you on your social media and where to go to listen to your radio station?
You can add me on here. I'm always promoting the real E-Dawg. The radio station is Easway. That's ESWAY. Radio.com. We're 24 hours. We program 24 hours. What else? You can hit us. You can hit me if you got a song, if you got a track that you think will work. I'm going to be honest with you. We are picky. I mean,
hella picky.
You really want me to sell you some Bammer. You can hit us on Easway Radio 206 at Gmail. If you want to submit a track, we not biased. You know what I mean? We encourage artists. We hit back on email. Just don't be hitting me with, tell me what you think about this track. That's a setup for that's a setup. I don't go for the setups. As soon as I tell you what I really feel, you the one on the other end telling everybody fuck my show. So, you know.
But you better keep saying that shit on the internet, because if you come to the studio and say that, you might not walk out the same. I'm just saying.
Shouts out to my sister. I see her in KD Town.
Okay, well, brother.
Shouts out to Amber, Pretty. What's her name on here? Pretty Lamb. She's a model. Y'all need a model in your video. Hit the Pretty Lamb. She be working.
There it is. Brother, thank you very much.
I appreciate you having me on, man.
I'm gonna slide my number into your DM, because I saw the twinkle in your eye when I said AWOL, bruh. Apparently we got something we need to talk about.
That's history. Yeah.
Yeah, we got something to talk about. So I'm gonna slide you my number, and I'm gonna send you some I gotta get some drops. Huh?
Yes, sir. Rest in peace, Bobby.
Oh, Oh, yeah, you definitely
Yeah.
getting the number because a lot of cats don't know that Bobby Gray was my dude. Oh, we definitely going to have a conversation. Brother, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the real E-Dawg here on hype-radio.com. The show has been Taking It Back Tuesdays, and we taking it back with greatness. And this man here is one of them. Make sure you tune in every Tuesday. Make sure you tune in to the app. Tune in on hype-radio.com. Follow. Tell everybody else to follow. Tell a friend, tell a motherfucking friend. This is what we do here. I'm your man Shadow, and we gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna be at you, bro.
All right, man. Peace out, bro.
Safe.